Israel's harsh tactics in the Middle East, growing antisemitism and brutal attacks on Jews in Britain. London's Jewish community are extremely concerned.
It's incredibly dangerous to see anti-Semitism growing again, but it is not anti-Semitic to call out the crimes of Israel and to stand in solidarity with Palestinians at the moment.
The war in Gaza is echoing in the streets of Britain. There are regular demonstrations in London. Criticism of Israel is running high. Writer Natasha Walter is among the demonstrators. She's joining up with Holocaust survivors and their families from the progressive wing of London's Jewish community. Walter's family fled from Hamburg to Britain to escape Nazi persecution. Around 300,000 Jews now live in the United Kingdom, less than 1% of the population.
When my grandmother got to Britain in 1939, she had brothers that went to Palestine in order to survive. If they hadn't have got there, they too would have been on those trains to Theresian, to Treblinka. They too would have been killed. So I completely understand this strong attachment and connection that Jewish people in Britain and across the world feel with Israel. But that shouldn't absolve us from understanding and calling out Israeli crimes.
Several thousand people regularly take part in pro-Palestinian demonstrations. The Jewish contingent is in the minority. Natasha Walter meets Stephen Capers there, a Hungarian Jew who lost most of his family in the Holocaust.
We're very aware of the Israeli government misusing the memory of the Holocaust as justification for some kind of impunity. And the true meaning of the Holocaust should be never again to any people anywhere.
The debate over Gaza is unfolding throughout Jewish London, including at one of Britain's largest synagogues.
I'm coming.
Rabbi Mendel Cohen cannot understand why Holocaust survivors or their families are protesting side by side with pro-Palestinian groups. He sees the demonstrations as a threat.
Nobody on the microphone, or if you read the posts afterwards, seem to be, they don't say, oh, we want Israel to be there, but please, Israel, can we have a better peace with your neighbours? That's not what they say. They say from the river to the sea and Zionists are genocidal, and that's complete fabrications. And it's blood libels. And it's very dangerous.
The rabbi is almost certain that nobody from his congregation would go to the pro-Palestinian protests.
The real questions need to be asked of how do we live in 2026 and Jews are persecuted for being Jews and killed or stabbed or be hunted down for that reason alone.
The Golders Green district in North London has a strong Jewish presence. There have been several attacks in recent weeks, and 2 men were stabbed. In response, the British government pledged millions in additional funding to safeguard schools and synagogues. Yet many here are afraid.
What's happened could have happened to anyone, and we need more protection for everyone.
I think what my grandparents felt in Stuttgart in 1930 or 25. It's really frightening.
It makes people feel that they're being targeted simply because of their beliefs, and it's just unfair and it's extremely hateful.
The people of Golders Green are concerned about the war in Gaza. At a cafe on the main street, many view the pro-Palestinian demonstrations skeptically. Solidarity with Israel comes first. Russell Kaller is one of the few who will say so on camera.
When we see an attack on Israel, we see it as an attack on Jewish people. Now, it's great to have a fiction that they're separate, but they've become intermingled. That's the reality of it.
We use these tables for our befriending and stuff.
Anthony Newton and David Wolf, on the other hand, share the criticism of the Israeli government.
We have a 35-year-old son who's always been reasonably religious, but now is turning against Zionism as a whole. But he's very Jewish, you know. So it's this confusion. We have a confusion, you know. That's all I can say. Don't you think so, David?
I have a solidarity with the idea of Israel and with many of the people, because I have friends who live there and who are very opposed to Netanyahu. But the actions of the government are, I don't know what word to use, dreadful.
Natasha Walter is adamant that the protests against the Israeli government are legitimate, not anti-Semitic. She doesn't agree with every single slogan, but nor has she felt any hostility there.
There is obviously a lot of affection from the march towards the Jewish groups, which is really good to witness that. And I do wish that more Jewish people would come along to the marches if they feel sympathy with the cause and see that it isn't a place where you have to feel uncomfortable or nervous. I mean, the antagonism is definitely directed towards Israel, not towards Jewish people on the march.
For the time being, it seems the Jews protesting against Israel in London are in the minority, and that the majority supports Israel. What unites both groups is their concern about growing anti-Semitism in their British homeland.